So apparently, my sleep regimen has resulted in inflamed skin, as you can see. This is allegedly all due to drinking too late. And to be fair, I do have a drink in the evening because it is um, getting a bit tiresome. I don't know. I like to have a drink with dinner, and I like to have a drink in the evening. But if I leave it too late, apparently that's going to cause inflamed skin. Plus, I don't really do anything anymore thanks to lockdown. So going for a walk should hopefully address this. And the thing that's making me most tired is this lack of routine that I used to have. I used to go to bed at a certain time and used to get up at a certain time, and that's kind of all out of the window. So I'm going to try and reinstate a new kind of routine. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works. But the biggest thing in my life is trying to find a meaningful purpose, shall we say? And COVID has shown that building websites and helping people with their IT might be in demand a little bit, but really it's not something that sets the world on fire, or as we should be doing, puts the fires out. And everything seems to be on fire this year, not just my face and my sinuses, but it's really about finding something meaningful. I was thinking, do I find something where the money is and do that, or should I just follow my heart and do what I think I should be doing to become more sustainable and not so much be reliant on a 9 to 5 kind of job like I have now? And I'll do kind of both, web hosting, IT support with Be Braver, and I do project management for Office Depot, and I look after service for some other companies, and it's fun stuff you can do from home, and it pays the bills. But ultimately the goal is get some land, build an Earthship on there, and have a little farm and be as self-sufficient as you can be. And having something that doesn't necessarily have a mortgage, and where you don't have utility bills, and perhaps even have reduced council tax rates or no council tax, is a critical thing. So instead of maybe concentrating on Be Braver as a business, I should be pivoting maybe a little bit and focus on doing this, like Earthship MK and Carbon Farm MK. And the two are interconnected, but they are distinct enough to have it kind of split into two separate things. Because carbon farming is the activity that we want to do, and the Earthship is the kind of shelter we want to build. It's not a domestic dwelling; it's a kind of farm, agricultural kind of building, if you will. That's at least what I'm trying to use to find a way to have my cake and eat it. And what can I do then to kind of go, okay, let's give this all my focus and energy, and what do we need to do? And I think what we need to do is establish where to get the land and how much the land's going to cost, and what restrictions, if any, you have, what funding is available for people who wish to build a business around carbon negative kind of farming or agriculture. We're talking about peat lands and worms and storing carbon in the soil, and talking about forests, and talking about wild kind of rewilding, I think is the word. I'm not entirely sure. So they're all the things that are kind of buzzing around, which is really interesting. So I'm thinking, okay, the first step is find some land, find out how to get it, and then once you have the land, you can start building. I think the Earthship is kind of the not a secondary topic, but ultimately, in order to use the land and work the land, you can't live. Okay, I'm quite close to countryside at the moment, but you want to be on the farm and live and work on the farm. That's the whole point. So how to build an Earthship is an interesting one, and I need to be more active perhaps in the community around Earthships, and actually do some lessons if that's the right way of putting it. I also want to build a channel, a community, I don't know, gather like-minded people, people who are interested in this kind of lifestyle, in the kind of building techniques, in the kind of business aspect, although the business is not about making loads of money and driving a fancy car. It's about being self-sufficient and sustainable, in the sense of you have everything that you need to survive there, come what may. And ideally, you kind of build a little community around you that can also kind of, be a little farming community. Let's put it that way. And I think there are other farming communities in the UK and Wales, for example, where that's kind of worked. But it's not a hippie commune. It's not like a, let's be totally alternative. This is grounded in science and engineering principles and in things that are not fluffy and I don't know how to put it without being perhaps offensive, because I don't mean to be offensive. There are stereotypes associated with this kind of lifestyle, perhaps that are not necessarily something that I'm aspiring to. I'm not a terribly spiritual person. I'm not not on a spiritual path to enlightenment or anything. I just want to keep my family safe and be living a good life, and that's, I think, the interesting bit where if you draw the parallels to what was it, 70s, 80s, living the good life, have a little homestead, grow your own fruit and veg. I think it's going back to those kind of basics where you can say, look, I'm kind of taking a step out of the rat race, and I'm not aligned with that kind of living. Cities are interesting places. They are places that make no sense, and they're built in ways that sometimes sound like a good idea, and then, oh shit, 10 years later, 20 years later, everything's changed, and what you thought was the utopia to reach has turned upside down, and it's horrendous. Milton Keynes is a great example. It's got loads of nature, loads of redways for biking, loads of dual carriageways to kind of do 70 miles an hour on, but it's lacking a heart of a community kind of centre. It's lacking that town centre. It's just commerce, really. And it's really hard to get around if you're not on a bike and you're not in a car. So there's no public transport, really. The public transport we have is horrendous. I can be in the office in the centre in 10 minutes by car, or it takes me an hour and a bit by bus. And I have to change buses like twice. So what the hell? It should not be like this. But anyway, that's a different kind of tangent to go on. The point is, I think it could become a bit of a template, hopefully, and that's why the community aspect is important, because I don't think, do it alone. And I want to give back. I want to, I don't necessarily want to make profit to have all the nice things. It's about generating profit in terms of value for the community and giving back, and finding a way to kind of not just teach my children, but let other people know how we can do this together and build a better world. So that's kind of the high level aspirations, and they're quite substantial. It's not something that you can do in an afternoon. So right now, first steps first, find some land. So I haven't made much inroads on that. It seems to be a little bit difficult to find out kind of the inside information, but that's what I'm focused on at the moment. And then once I have it, hopefully I can afford to buy it, and then we're a massive step further. So that's the update. Kind of while I am in the meantime, I'm working 2 jobs. If you need anybody who needs help with a website, marketing automation, or just their IT in general, give us a shout. It's bebraveanow.com. And otherwise, I'll see you on, wherever you fancy. On the blog, on the Allward community, on YouTube. Not on social media, but do please reach out.